The good-smelling Indians are in India. Australian living standards. Let's talk about it. But before we do, give yourself a round of applause. We did it. We did it. We did it. Looney Tunes Jesus picture pulled from the Sydney exhibition after protest. There was this Looney Tunes picture depicting Jesus and essentially just blasphemy. Complete blasphemy to God, Christians. And it's good to see Christians stand up and actually get something taken down. So clap for that. Well done. Well done there. Special mention to Charlie Bacchus. You're doing amazing work. Leader of Christian Lives Matter. He pushed for this to get taken down. We supported him. He has now been taken down. So well done on that. Well done on that. I want to give another round of applause. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. The video that we made on Malcolm Turnbull, where we essentially broke down Malcolm Turnbull's business dealings, showed that it doesn't actually hate Peter Dutton. And it's not that he thinks that Peter Dutton is incapable of running a multicultural country. It's more that Peter Dutton is aligned with nuclear energy, and he registered a company last year called Turble Renewables. Malcolm Turnbull has put all his eggs in a renewable energies basket. And if the Liberals were to get elected, it would destroy Malcolm Turnbull and his selfish plans. So he's gone against party lines, not for the Australian people, but to fill his own pockets. And after that video, it has come out today that Liberal Party members are calling for Malcolm Turnbull to be expelled. And I just want to read you some of the emails that have been sent to the Liberal Party by its members. Dear State Director, enough is enough. I urge you to expel Malcolm Turnbull from the Liberal Party. Fantastic. Completely agree with it. Dear State Director, it is time for Mr. Turnbull to be dismissed from the party. Completely agree. Dear State Director, Mr. Turnbull has a long history in publicly attacking our party. His comments about our federal leader are totally unacceptable. I encourage you to take the strongest possible action in this regard. The only logical action is at this stage to expel Turnbull from the Liberal Party. I mean, he's always wanted to be a Labor Party member. So expel him, let him go off to the Labor Party. They can have the scraps of the Liberals. Whether it changes anything, it doesn't really change anything. It's like at this stage, these parties they pass one thing and then they argue against another, and then the other party comes in and passes that other thing. And this is a perpetual motion that just keeps going on and on and on and on. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. We're going to talk about the biggest collapse in world living standards. And the country with the biggest collapse is Australia. Let's look at this. Australian household has suffered one of the world's steepest declines when it comes to real per capita household disposable income last year. And likewise, Australia has recorded the sharpest decline out of any Western nation when it comes to real per capita since the start of the pandemic. The March quarter national accounts from the Australian Bureau of Statistics showed that annual real per capita households disposable incomes in Australia had collapsed by 7.6% from their June 2022 peak. This is a similar story for Australian real wages. When adjusted for CPI inflation, Australian real wages are currently tracking at 7.1% below their June 2020 peak, as shown in this graph. Now, Labor's May federal budget projected that Australia's real wages would only recover to a December 2014 level by mid-2028.
Now, Diogo, what does this all mean?
Well, mate, it means that Australians have lost around 14 years of progress in their living standards.
Left hook the first bloke you see alongside you.
And it doesn't matter how much the media fluff things to make this all sound good, all the politicians with their, what do you call it? Parliamentary privilege. I still can't believe that that's a thing, that you can just get in parliament and you can just lie. It's legal for you to lie. Just pure lies. That's what parliamentary privilege is. That should just be taken out. Whoever is in charge, like if the Libertarians were to get in, if UAP were to get in, if I don't know, pick a party, whatever party you like, Greens were to get in. The first thing should be to remove parliamentary privilege. You should not be able to lie to the Australian people. That should be number one. But no, none of them agree on that because all of them want to lie. You may also have noticed from that chart that I put up that the real wages in mid-2028 are expected to be 4.3% below our June 2020 peak. So as slow of a progression as Labor's doing, even at their best, it'll still be below the Liberals in 2020. And that's saying a lot. Australia is just such a nice place that, you know, we have these real issues, like one of the worst out of all the Western nations. But it's such a lovely place that the general public seem to just overlook these issues. And, you know, with the politicians just being able to legally lie, they get away with it. Now, what's underpinning all of this? What is underpinning the collapse of living standards in Australia, which is one of the worst in the world? Well, extreme immigration policy. No one wants to talk about it, but the reality is that Australia recorded 518,000 net overseas migration in 2022 to 2023, which was by far the largest intake on record. No one wants to talk about this, but the reality is that it's these stinky Indians coming over and putting extreme pressure on the household income and just crush loaded everything in sight. Now, are all Indians stinky? Maybe. Maybe not. For me, a lot are. Now, could we get people from other nations? Possibly. I'm sure India is not sending their best people. There's a fantastic video, and I'll show you this video in a sec, where the Middle East says that when they're sending over, or when the West is intaking these people from their nations, and this is their words, they're not taking the best.
No, you are in a crisis. You went to the Muslim countries and you imported the garbage that the Muslim countries wanted to put in prison or isolate away from society. You went and you imported them. Why? For cheap labor. But these Islamist extremists, they don't want to work. They want free welfare. They want to marry French women, blonde hair, blue eyes. They don't have time to work.
The good-smelling Indians are in India. They're not coming over in these boats. They're in India. They're living their life. We are intaking the worst people. And there's a interesting battle that's going on where it's and no one also doesn't want to talk about this. It's the old migrants versus the new migrants. The old migrants that worked really hard and came over and assimilated into the culture versus this new wave of migrants that's brought in by, you know, terrible policy, the WEF, you know, all these different organizations outside of the country that put force on a country to be globalized, right? And they're just grabbing whoever they can to just throw at any nation. And it is an issue. Australia used to import 100,000 people per year not 100,000 people per month. And the intake that we've had, 518,000 net overseas migration in 2022 and 2023, is by far the largest intake on record. This is a problem. This is a problem. And it's okay to speak about it. Look, I'm going to leave it there. There's been a lot of information. Make sure you share this video out. I enjoyed the feedback that you guys are giving on these particular monologues. I see that you guys are sharing it, liking, commenting, and enjoying them, which is the main thing. If you think there's particular issues that you'd like me to cover, shoot me a message. I love to hear them. But for now, I'll see you in the next report. Peace.
You feel it? Can you feel it?